Hi everyone, this is Hiba from My Little Journal, and today I'm really excited to start my Ramadan Traveler's Notebook. Ramadan has started and I have a few pictures to document. I will be using the Ramadan journaling prompts that I created. If you want these journaling prompts, they are linked down in the description box for you. And also, if you are following me on Instagram, I do have several posts sharing this prompt list. But anyways, I've talked about this project before. I will be using the Ramadan kit from the Paper Person shop. So I'll be using the Ramadan stamp set. I grabbed a number stamp. I will play around with my number stamps, but I thought maybe I'll use this. I'm not sure. The Traveler's Notebook papers and the ephemera pack that came with the kit. And I will also be working in this mini traveler's notebook. It's a 4x6 from Everyday Explorers. I love their traveler's notebooks. They are beautiful. And this one is just plain and it has the date and you can kind of journal about how you're feeling for the day. But I'm going to kind of play around with this. I think I'm going to do photo journaling, photo embellishments. Haven't decided, but I'm going to use it where 2 pages is going to be one spread just because it's a small traveler's notebook. And I'm going to kind of play around with this. I do not have an idea how I'm going to do this, but like I said earlier, I know I want to add full page photos. So I printed my photos in 4x6s so it will literally cover one side of my spread, and then I can kind of play around with the opposite side. But I printed out my photos. I also shrunk some of the papers from the kit. Now, if you bought the digitals, you can do that. You can shrink down your pages to fit into your notebook or your album, whatever you're working on. But you do have to have the digitals from the Paper Person shop. Or you can just trim down your papers if you bought the kit. And I'm going to end up doing that, by the way. I'm going to trim down some of these papers to fit into my traveler's notebook and kind of play around with it. I do want to use the papers as well. They're going to add a lot of pop to my spread and color, so that's why I want to do that. But that's about it, you guys. I'm going to work on my cover, a few of the pages in my Ramadan traveler's notebook, and I hope you enjoy it. And as always, I will have all the links for everything I used in my video down in the description box for you. I hope you enjoy the process while I'm working on this project. Okay, you guys, so I wanted to start with the cover of my traveler's notebook. And I thought I'm going to use these beautiful alphas from the Paper Person shop. And I'm going to stamp Ramadan. So because it's such a big word and it's not going to fit, and I really wanted to stamp it horizontally, not vertically, so I'm going to stamp them 2 letters at a time. And obviously the third line is going to be 3 letters, so I can fit in Ramadan or fit in the whole word. But because I'm stamping it a little bit offish, and I did that on purpose because I want to also stamp 2021, and I want to use the Ramadan stamp set from the Paper Person shop. So it's going to look all off and wrong once I finish stamping, but once I add in the date or the year and a little bit of stamping from the kit or the stamp set, it's gonna look really, really good. Now that I'm done stamping Ramadan, I'm gonna grab my Everyday Explorers mini calendar day stamp set to stamp 2021, and then I'm gonna stamp it vertically next to the R. That's why I kind of played with my letters and my stamping. I wanted everything to fit and it would almost look like a box once I'm done. And I also decided that I'm going to trim down my cover. I've been doing this a lot. I think I did it for my Me, Myself, and I project. I've done it for my October daily. I just like doing that. And I think it's just fun to play around with my cover. But I'm going to trim off just a tiny bit. And then I'm going to grab the stamp set from the kit to stamp some of the lanterns. I'll even stamp the stars randomly on my spread. Just playing around with this. I want to bring in a pop of color to my title and my cover. And you know, I think I'm going to end up adding a few more stamping on the back cover as well. I don't share that like while I'm doing this, but I thought about it while I was recording this basically. But I will end up adding some stars and probably some lanterns on the back cover to make it look like it's a part of my front cover. Now, one thing I love about these lanterns is they have fillers and you can add a pop of color. So I just used this beautiful blue from the Paper Person shop, one of the ink pads from the Paper Person shop, and a beautiful purple. And now I can start stamping my stars. Again, I'm just stamping them randomly. There's no right or wrong way to do this. And I will fill them out with some yellow ink from the Paper Person shop as well. So now that I have all my stars stamped out, I'm going to fill them out with the yellow ink. And I want to start adding little things before I work on my spreads. So I want to add my journaling prompts. And I also want to add the paper that I shrunk down opposite my journaling prompts. It's kind of like an opening page for my traveler's notebook. But when I stuck down my journaling prompts, I really didn't like it. It just looked very blah. Maybe I should have backed it up with some paper. I don't know what it's missing. If you guys have any ideas, share them with me because I'm kind of stuck. I just thought I'm going to leave it as is for now and decide later. But I did trim it down because I had printed it a little bit too big for the cover. And I'm going to stick that down. And now I'm going to grab that paper that I shrunk down from the kit. It has the moon phases, and I really thought this was the perfect paper to start my traveler's notebook with. So it's just like a countdown to Eid, basically. Anyways, I am going to start with prompt number 1, and it is decor, your Ramadan decor. I am a very simple person when it comes to seasonal decor and holidays and stuff like that. For each Ramadan, I just pull out my Arab people. They're adorable. And a few of my Middle Eastern vases. This vase is beautiful, and I'll tell you all about it in a bit. But I want to add some of the paper to my spread where I'm going to end up adding my journaling. So I'm going through my papers, and I love this striped red, it's pink, it's yellow, it's all the colors, it's just gorgeous. And I thought I'm going to go ahead and trim it down and add it to one side of my page. That way I add a pop of color, I leave space for my journaling, and it works out perfectly. Now, while I was putting away my paper, I found this one that said Ramadan Mubarak right at the edge of the paper. So I decided to trim it off, and I thought it would be perfect to kind of break down the harsh cut lines, and it worked really, really well. Love it there right above my pattern paper. But I also, as you can see, I have that strip of red to the left of the screen, and I thought, you know what, this would be perfect to back up my title with. It adds more color, and it just also breaks down all the harsh lines. So I go with it. I love the idea. I don't waste any paper, and it just gave this really nice look to my title here on this page. Once I'm done sticking everything down, I'm going to start stamping. I'm going to use the stamp set from the kit to stamp the gray, or not gray, the circle in gray right above where my journal is going to sit. And I'm going to also stamp the masbaha. It's the masbaha for Muslims is very similar to the rosary for Christians, but we pray with it. And I will stamp fasting as well within that circle. It's just a nice little subtitle for my journaling. I also want to number my pages. I just prefer numbering my spreads when I'm working in a project like this. So I ended up using my Everyday Explorers Calendar Day stamp set and stamped 1. And then I'm going to use this stamp set from Altenew. I've had this stamp set for a long time and I love it. it's just Arabic words and they're written in Arabic. So I end up stamping Ramadan Kareem and I believe Marhaba, which means hello. And I stamp them on some sticker paper. I will end up coming back to them later. But first I want to stamp my like journaling title. So I do this a lot when I'm working in these types of projects. So because I'm documenting decor, I decided I'm going to stamp decor directly on my photo. When I stamp directly on my photos, I do use my black archival ink. It works perfectly, and it even works better if you use matte photo paper. But I am using Fiji Crafts Apollo Alpha Stamp. Love the stamp set. I'm not going to fill it out. I'm just going to stamp out the outline of the stamp set. And then I'm going to trim out Ramadan Kareem and Marhaba and add that around my little mini title here. Once I add them, I love how it looks. That boldness of the black ink made everything pop. Okay, so I'm almost done with day one, but I'm gonna stamp the little sheep in the corner because he's so cute. And I will grab my washi tape dots. You guys know how much I'm obsessed with these dots. I'm going to just add them like in a line and a column down the two lines from my pattern paper, again to break down the harshness of the lines. I felt like there was a lot of lines on the spread, so just adding the dots really helped. Now, I'm not going to be sharing my journaling right now because I had not even like typed it out or anything, but you will see them at the end of the video when I share photos, still photos of my project. Let's move on to day two. Now, day two is all about iftar, and that is my favorite part of Ramadan is iftar because I get to spend it with family and friends, and it's so good. The food is always so yummy, and I have the photo to prove it. So our first day of iftar was at my mom's house. It's like a tradition. We always go to my mom's, and I just went ahead, stuck down the photo to the left side. I went through the die cuts from the kit. I really wanted to add a die cut in that corner. I felt like this blue one worked really well. It's a great spot to stamp the day or the number. And I'm gonna use my Everyday Explorers calendar day stamp set to stamp number 2 right on my label. I also thought to myself that I really do not need a large title on every single spread, especially that this TN is very small. So I'm gonna actually use the word iftar from the stamp set to stamp right underneath the number 2, and that way it represents what I'm journaling about and what journal prompt number 2 is. Once I'm done with that, I thought, oh, I'm gonna stamp my dates in the corner, but thought better about it that I needed a pop of color here, and I'm gonna need that space. So I'm gonna cover up the dates that I stamped, but I will stamp them again later. But for now, I'm gonna trim down this paper. It's beautiful. It has stars and moons, and the back side is in like this beautiful navy blue, and it's a great way to add a pop of color and add some layering to my page. So I'm gonna add those to the edge of my layout. It adds the pop of color, and it represents iftar because basically we get to eat at sundown, right? So it was just perfect. Love the navy blue, and it matches well with my label. Now that I have everything stuck down, I can go back into my stamp sets and start stamping. So I grabbed the Altenew stamp again, and I stamped Alhamdulillah, which means thank God. And I'm gonna stamp it on some sticker paper again, trim it out and add it just kind of to break down the lines right at the bottom of my spread. I do want to add some journaling, so that's why I'm trying to focus my like embellishments to the top and the bottom. I will grab the Ramadan stamp set again to stamp the dates because I really want to stamp them. And because I'm journaling about iftar, of course, I want to add dates. To add a pop of color, I'm going to use the circle from the stamp set and stamp it in this beautiful yellow. I forgot what this yellow is called. Anyway, I will link everything down in the description box, but it is from the Paper Person shop. I stamped it in yellow, and then I'm going to stamp fasting. And now I want to add a little bit of embellishing. So I'm going to start with my have-to bowl. I know I still call it my have-to bowl, even though I moved them into this bigger container, but we're still calling it my have-to bowl. And when I was going through this, I found a circle with the same exact yellow that I just stamped out. It was perfect, so I'm going with it, and I'm going to add it to my little cluster here at the bottom. I'll also go through my puffy stickers and add some puffy stars, a heart, just little things like that to add a pop of color to my spread. Right before I put away my puffy stickers, I found a sticker in yellow that said Home Sweet Home. And I thought to myself, this is perfect for the spread. So I'm going to end up adding it to my photo. And then I call my layout done. I love how these turned out. Very simple, very easy to put together, especially using the Ramadan kit from the Paper Person shop. But anyways, you guys, I hope to share more as I create in my traveler's notebook. So keep an eye out for those extra videos a week throughout Ramadan, where I share a few layouts at a time that I've created in my traveler's notebook. Don't forget, I will be linking everything down in the description box for you. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. And I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye.